Good morning, my dear students. Today I will discuss about OOPS concept. It's like object-oriented programming system. First is what is OOPS? Object means a real world entity such as a pen, chair, table, computer, watch, etc. Object-oriented programming is a paradigm that provides many concepts such as a inheritance, data, binding, polymorphism, and etc. The popular object oriented programming language is Java, C Sharp, PHP, Python, C++, and etc. The main aim of object oriented programming is the implemented real world entities, for example, object, classes, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Object means real world entities such as a pen, chair, table, computer, etc. Programming is a method of paradigms to design a program using classes and objects. Object oriented concepts. First is object, object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstractions, and encapsulations. So now I will discuss about object. What is an object in Java? Any identity that has state and behavior is known as a object. For example, chair, bike, marker, pen, table, car, and etc. It can be physically or logical way, means tangible and non-tangible. The example of tangible object is the banking system. An object has three characteristics. First is state. State means the value of object. Behavior is functionality of the object. Entity is the identity of the object is unique to other data. For example, pen is an object. Its name is Reynolds. Color is white, known as its states, and it used to write. So writing is its behavior. Next is what is class in Java. Collections of objects is called class. It is logically identity. A class can also be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. Class does not consume any space. A class is a group of objects which have common properties. It is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. It is logically identity. It can't be physical. Java class contains like field, methods, constructors, block, nested class, and interfaces. Next is syntax to declare a class. First is class, then class name, curly braces, field, semicolon, and method, semicolon, curly braces is closed. Next is what is inheritance? Inheritance means inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent object. It is an important part of OOPS. When one object acquires all the properties and behavior of a parent class, it is known as an inheritance. It provides code reusability. It is used to achieve runtime polymorphism. Inheritance represents the IS relationship, which is also known as a parent-child relationship. Term used in inheritance. First is class. Class is a group of objects which have common properties. It is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Next is subclass or child class. Subclass is a class which inherits the other class. Is also called derived class. Extended class or child class. Next is superclass, parent class. Superclass is known as a parent class. Is a class from where a subclass inherits the features. It is also called a base class or parent class. Next is reusability. As the name specifies, reusability is a mechanism which facilitates you reuse the fields and methods of the existing class. When you create a new class, you can use the same field and same methods already defined in a previous class. This is the term of inheritance. Next is the syntax of Java inheritance. First, class, subclass name, extend, superclass name, curly braces, method and field and curly braces is closed. The extends keyword indicates that you are making a new class that derives from a existing class. The meaning of extends is increase the functionality. Next is type of inheritance in Java. One, the basic of class. There can be three types of inheritance in Java. First is single, multi-level and inheritance. In Java programming, multiple and hybrid inheritance is supported through interface only. First is single inheritance, next is multiple, and third one is hierarchical. First is single inheritance. Single inheritance. When a class inherits another class, it is known as a single class. It's like, for example, animal class and dog class. In the example, dog class inherits the animal class. So there is a single inheritance. Next is multi-level inheritance. When there is a chain of inheritance is known as a multi-level inheritance. As you can see the in example given, baby dog class inherits the dog class and dog, which again inherits the animal class. First is baby dog class inherits the dog class, then dog class inherits the animal class. Is known as a multi-level inheritance. Next is hierarchical inheritance. When two or more classes inherit a single class is known as a hierarchical class. It is known as a hierarchical inheritance. In the example given, dog and cat classes inherit the animal class. There is a hierarchical inheritance because dog and cat belongs to the animal. That's why dog class and cat class inherit the properties of animal class. Next is multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through classes. When one class inherits multiple classes is known as a multiple inheritance. For example, class C inherit a class and C class inherit class B. It means C class is reuse the properties of class A and class B. Next is hybrid class. Hybrid class means class A and class B and C. B class inherit class A and class C inherit the class A. And then class D inherit B and C class. Next is polymorphism. Polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways. Polymorphism is derived from two Greek words. First is poly and morphs. The word poly means many and morph means form. It means polymorphism means many forms. If one task is performed in different ways, it is known as a polymorphism. For example, to convince the customer differently to draw something, for example, shape, triangle, rectangle, etc. In Java, we use method overloading and method overriding to achieve the polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism. First is compile time polymorphism, second is runtime polymorphism. We can perform polymorphism in Java by method overloading and method overriding. If you can use overload a static method in Java, it is example of compile time polymorphism. And then if you overriding a static method in Java, it is example of runtime polymorphism. Next is abstraction. Abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details and showing only functionality to the users. Another way, it shows only essential things to your users and hides the internal detail. For example, sending SMS where you type and the text and send the message. You don't know the internal processing about the message delivery. This is the concept of abstraction. Hiding internal details and showing the functionality is known as a abstraction. Abstraction class. A abstract class contain the abstract keyword in its declaration is known as a abstract class. Abstract class may or may not contain abstract method. There is methods without body, public void get functions, semicolon. If a class is declares abstract, it cannot be instanted. To use an abstract class, you have to inherit it from another class. Provides implementation to the abstract method in it. If you inherit an abstract class, you have to provide implementation to all the abstract method in it. But if a class has at least one abstract method, then the class must be declared abstract. Next and last is encapsulation. Encapsulation in Java is a process of wrapping code and data together in a single unit. For example, a capsule which is mixed of several medicines. We can create a fully encapsulated class in Java by making all the data members of the class private. Now we can use the setter and getter method to set and get the data in it. Benefit of encapsulation. The fields of a class can be made real, read only, and write only. A class can have total control over what is stored in its field. That is the encapsulation. Thank you so much.